Hi everyone, my name is Winston and I'm the founder of Arima. Today, I'm here to tell you about one of our new modules, InstaPoll. InstaPoll is a large language model assisted polling functionality that allows the users to create a custom question, survey the population, but unlike traditional polls, here they're surveying a virtual population, which is Arima's synthetic society. The reason why people want to do that is because traditionally polls are very expensive and slow. If you want to conduct a poll, you have to create your question, you submit that to the research company. The research company needs to find a panel, needs to survey every one of them, so either making calls or asking them a question online or through an app. It takes some time for people to answer and to collect data and to clean the data and get that back to you. That could be a 4-week process and it does take a little bit of time. InstaPoll is, like the name suggests, an instantaneous process where you can get your questions very quickly in a matter of hours. It comes with a fraction of the time and a fraction of the cost. And it's a great way for people to gather public opinion in a very quick and efficient way. Last year, right before the US election, one of my longtime collaborators, who's now a professor at the University of Southern California, reached out to me and said, I have this research idea, let's collaborate and let's write a paper on it. I've known him for 7 or 8 years, and he knows very well what we do here at Arima in our synthetic society product. His idea was very simple. In the synthetic society, we track a lot of data about every individual in the United States. We know their age, their gender, their demographics, their shopping behaviors, their healthcare patterns, their media consumption, everything. And at the same time, large language models also know a lot of things about people's public opinions, from which candidates do people like, what kind of a party they will vote for, or even are they likely to vote or not in the first place. So our research question basically is there a way to combine these two sources of information? And the way we do that would be to take an individual from the synthetic society, describe this person's profile to the large language model. So we would go to, say, ChatGPT and say, here's an individual, this person is 25-year-old female living in this particular state in this county. They have these kinds of interests, these kinds of family information, these kinds of financial status, let's say. In this upcoming election, here are 2 candidates. These are their platforms. Who will you vote for? If we prompt the large language model with enough information, then it should be able to make an accurate prediction on how that person is going to vote. And because we have all 325 million Americans, we could, in theory, figure out who's eligible to vote and who will actually go vote, and ask each and every one of them which party, which person are they going to vote for. And that way, if we ladder up the answers from every individual to every county to every state, we should be able to fairly accurately predict who is going to ultimately win. So that was the idea. That's how InstaPoll works. And we've done a series of simulation studies to show that our results are very accurate to what traditional pollsters would say. And our data suggested that InstaPoll is actually a very good and very reliable way to get information in an accurate but also faster way. InstaPoll is originally designed to make political predictions in a quicker and more efficient way. That said, after the election, some of our customers very quickly discovered other applications and use cases of this module. For example, people have asked us to just survey the population in general. Will people like this product? How often will people buy something? Will people use, an app that does X? All kinds of questions, especially questions that are not being captured by traditional surveys and studies and panels because they're too specific or too niche. People have also asked us, can we use InstaPoll to evaluate creatives? Which one of these app creatives will have more receptivity? Or using InstaPoll to evaluate a particular product idea or to estimate how many people will buy a product or a service. So there are lots of applications for InstaPoll as a way to quickly gather public opinion, and one where people can do so in a cheaper and faster way. And more importantly, one of the advantages of InstaPoll is that when you create a question, they're not just a standalone question like most surveys. Instead, when you create a question, they become part of the synthetic society and they can mix very well with the remaining 50,000 variables we have. So we continue to work with our clients to discover new use cases, but so far, most of our customers have been insights teams, brand marketing teams, media teams, or even sometimes data science groups. And these are people who found InstaPolls useful as a useful way to gather accurate data in a reliable way. We look forward to working with more of our clients to figure out how we can bring InstaPoll to market.